Today we're debating resolve that the WNBA be abolished. And do we have a timekeeper? Because my phone doesn't keep time. All right, Steven?
No, I need someone to teach me how to keep time.
Seriously? Seriously, Steven?
No, I'm just kidding. I know how to keep time.
Okay, okay. All right, and then we have our pro speaker, Kyle Stillwell. Kyle, you may have the floor. You may begin when Steven is ready.
Let's get into the vote. Are you ready, Sailor?
And begin.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of Parsippany Hills High School, JSA. The WNBA should be abolished because, well, it's sexist. The WNBA is sexist because segregating men and women into two leagues, well, that's about it. That's the sexist part. The highest paid WNBA player makes only $101,000, while the average NBA player makes over $5 million. This is approximately 50 times less than the men get paid. How are men and women equal at the professional level if they don't get paid the same salary? I read that the NCAA did a study and found that only 2,000 out of every 1 million Americans even watch the WNBA. With that low of a viewer percentage, the WNBA is just wasting precious airtime that TV stations can put to much better use. If you've noticed around school, no one really talks about a big WNBA game or how awesome a certain WNBA player is because it's not that popular, it has a limited fan base, it wastes money, airtime, and therefore it should be abolished. Also, Dr. J. Rosenberg, PhD, from Cambridge University, has concluded in a case study that the WNBA has promoted steroid use in the players. Also, players have begun to get silicone knee implants to become taller and jump higher. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not okay. You're not allowed to use steroids at the professional level. Why would you get silicone knee implants? It's awful. And I yield my time to questions.
All right. Can we control our giggles, people? Sophia.
What would you say to an aspiring woman athlete who's like doing really well in basketball and wants to go professional?
Get a sex change. You're supposed to get questions.
Yeah. Matt.
Would you like to explain these silicone knee implants?
Okay. Well, silicone knee implant. Basically, they put it in between the bones so you get higher. So basically, you put it here and you look just this much taller. And because it's silicone, you can bounce and it makes you jump higher. It's beautiful. It's a process.
It's a process.
You said that it's sexist, but wouldn't eliminating it completely be inhibiting their ability to play at all?
They can still play, just not professionally. It's true.
Nico?
Would you agree that abolishing the WNBA would make the sponsors have more money and as a result create more jobs for the U.S. economy?
Precisely.
Rob?
Would you agree that the women in the WNBA can compete on the same level as the men can, because they don't score as many points or jump as high?
Precisely. They can. That's why it's being abolished.
Roger?
Well, you're saying that it's sexist, and he's saying it's because of because they can't score as many points. Don't you think we should do the inverse of abolishing it, and instead pump more money so that we can fix the lack of form in a WNBA basketball game?
Well, having two leagues is segregating men and women, and that's just sexism. Women got rights in 1920s. In the 1920s, 19th Amendment. And what's the rest of your question?
Come again?
What was your question? Can you reiterate the
Oh,
question?
well, don't you think instead of getting rid of it, we should just put more money into it so we can actually teach them how to shoot a basketball?
It's a waste. Just to be brutally honest.
Angry.
All right.
Isn't that worse though? Now that you're like taking away the WNBA, you're also taking away their right to play basketball almost, because none of the women, as you've kind of pointed out, because you said they're bad, they're not going to be able to compete with the men on the teams and who are trying out, so they're not going to make it onto the regular NBA. So by taking away the WNBA, isn't it going to make it so there's like no way of any female playing basketball?
No one's taking away their right to play basketball. We're just taking away their right to play in their own league.
But that's horrible.
Sophia?
Do you believe women should be allowed to play in the NBA?
Yeah, why not? If they can play, go for it.
Alright, do you have a question?
This is about your response to a question from before. How is abolishing the WNBA adding jobs into the economy?
Because sponsors like Gatorade or Reebok, instead of putting money into sponsor players, can keep the money and then hire more people, make more jobs, and put more money flow into the economy.
Yeah.
How much money actually gets put into the WNBA?
To be honest, I honestly have no idea. I'm sorry.
How much time do we have left?
About 3 minutes.
Really?
Let's keep going.
Alright, Matt, go ahead.
What do you think would be the turnout if you can put women into the NBA?
Well, if women have the skill level to play in the NBA, they'd be much faster than all those really tall, lanky people, and they could get to the basket really quickly, and they could score faster, and they could steal the ball because they're shorter, and I think it would be a great thing, to be honest with you.
So, what do you propose we do about locker room accommodations? If girls play in the same NBA league as men?
Still have to have separate locker rooms. I mean,
There's a boundary.
it'll just turn into a brothel at that point.
Alright,
Does the speaker agree that the WNBA would be twice as awesome if they added trampolines everywhere?
No.
Right?
It'd actually be 2 times less awesome.
Alright, if these questions are gonna stay really crazy, I'm not gonna take many more, so only serious ones.
Okay.
Roger.
Okay. Alright, so I don't know how to word this without being mean. So just you know, can you come back to me so I
Alright,
can
I'll
word
come
this?
back to you.
Okay.
Matt?
My question's mildly stupid.
So are you.
I'll just go ahead.
Just pass on.
Alright, I'll pass on it.
Hold on, wait, go back to Roger.
Alright, Roger.
Alright.
Is Roger ready?
Alright, so right now in our economy, we're having a lot of problems with money. And the NBA is quite good because it makes money with less letters. But the NBA has more letters and it makes less money. So the speaker agreed that it would be good to get rid of the extra W and just make one NBA.
That actually,
That's actually.
Yeah,
Wait,
sure.
what?
Instead of having, you saying like instead of having the WNBA and the NBA, just make it NBA. Men's NBA,
Yeah.
women's NBA. Make more money. Bro.
Your
speaker agree with that?
he just answered your question.
Oh, wait.
Just-
Can you say it again?
Because
Well,
basically they
you
get
already
rid of
answered it.
calling the WNBA and conjoin them and be just the NBA but have a women's league and a men's league.
Well, as my statistic says, women will still get paid 50 times less than the men either way.
Oh god. Alright.
Okay.
Steven?
Okay, so people have been, some of our female companions have been bringing up that this might be sexist, but with the statistics that you were showing about how women are getting paid less, don't you think this is exactly the opposite of sexist? Because if you get rid of the WNBA, that you have a chance to make more money?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alright, Nico.
Concerning locker accommodations, since they can't build more lockers onto a stadium, don't you think if like the men and the women were to share teams that like the home and the the opposing team could have one locker room for the men and vice versa for the women, do you think that would work, or do you think that would just arise conflict with cheating?
Alright, well, the locker rooms are so big that you may as well just build a wall in the middle, and you have 2 locker rooms right there. Bam. There's your problem. Here's your side.
What would you do with all the athletes that haven't studied anything and can't really make more money outside either? Like, all they know is basketball, and aren't you taking away their happiness and dreams, Kyle Stillwell?
Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that, really? Back up a second. If they haven't studied to pursue a job and they just went right into the sport, whose fault is that really? It's their fault. It's true.
Okay.
Don't you think that if we abolish the WNBA, 1, we will get rid of steroids, which is bad for people in general. 2, that'll increase the marriage rate because steroids for women is very unattractive. That'll increase the birth rate, which will be good.
I agree to everything you said. All of the above.
Alright. Wait, half a minute? Alright. Roger?
So you mentioned earlier about silicone implants and certain types of surgeries. And right now, we kind of need things like that to make money. So like they have money and they can spend it. So if abolishing the NBA is WNBA, sorry, is gonna get rid of those excess surgeries, don't you think that that'd be terrible for the economy?
Why would that be terrible for the economy? How unhealthy is it to get a silicone bag in your knee? Be honest with me. How unhealthy is it?
But those are awesome.
Oh, okay. Anyways, you know, since the women, the WNBA's attendance rate, since it's incredibly low, doesn't that kind of give America or everyone kind of an idea of what America thinks of the WNBA? If they really liked it, then don't you think people would go watch it? No, we have the NBA for that.
Well,
That's
it's not even the fact that it's the attendance rate, that's only the viewer rate in total, including the attendance rate.
Whoa.
So, there's your side.
Alright, we're done here. Alright, now our con speaker,
Roger.
the lovely Lacey.
Oh, that's cute. Lazy.
Oh yeah.
When you're ready, miss.
Okay, so everybody knows I'm going to bring this up, so I am. Women, they got the rights from Title IX, and it says that no person in the United States on the basis of sex can be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to any discrimination as resulting to sports. So with that, women got the right to be able to pursue different ways they want to go in sports. So by taking away the WNBA, then you're taking away their right that they earned, that we've been fighting for since the 60s and 70s with the civil rights movement. So if you're taking that away, then you're taking away one of the 3 professional sports that women have. We have the WNBA, we have professional tennis, and professional golf. That's it. But men, they have hockey, they have football, they have baseball, they have everything. And women only have a few of these, so it's not right to take away one of their more prevalent professional sports. And also the WNBA is a part of the NBA. It originally came from that. So they share arenas and have the same market. So it's not taking away, like they're not separate arenas built for it, so it's consolidating and sharing with the NBA. And there's also players in the WNBA from 20 different countries, so it shows that it's an international sport, and there are a lot of international players in other countries, in like 167 different countries it's broadcasted. So just because it's not prevalent in America doesn't mean that other people don't watch it. And let's just say, because you guys don't necessarily like to watch it doesn't mean that other people aren't interested in it, because for some people, basketball is their life, and can you imagine taking away what you've been striving for forever? And you've been striving to become a professional basketball player your entire life, and then they just take it away. What are you going to do? Little girls always look up to the stars, and they have aspirations. So by taking that away, you're taking away their dreams, and that's not fair. And they're also good role models, and they do a lot for the community, like how they are supportive of the Read to Achieve program, which promotes reading. There is the Junior NBA and Junior WNBA, which are feeder programs which help to get kids interested in basketball. And there's also the Sears WNBA Breast Health Awareness Program, which helps with breast awareness. So it's not only that they're playing basketball, but they're benefiting the community on the whole. And if you take away the WNBA, then it's going to affect a lot more people than just the players. It's going to affect the coaches, the trainers that they work with, different professional athletes that they interact with, and also like head coaches, physical trainers. So there's a whole industry and market that you're going to destroy, which is going to take away jobs. And in this economy, we need to have more jobs. So by keeping an industry alive, then we're going to help grow the economy. And there's also a quote that I have from March 12, 2009 article from NBA Commissioner David Stern. And he said this as relating to the bad economy, that the NBA is far less profitable than the WNBA. We're losing a lot of money against a larger number of teams. We're budgeting the WNBA to break even this year. So it's really not losing as much money as the NBA since it's on a smaller scale. And if we want to help it to become more popular, then like what we were talking about before, we need to put more money into it so that we can see the benefits. Because if people don't really hear about it, then they're not going to be interested in it. So that's why we need to develop more programs to interest people in the WNBA, and then we'll see greater results. So I yield my time to questions.
All right. Kyle.
You mentioned that women only have golf, basketball, and tennis, but is the speaker aware that women can also play volleyball and soccer on the professional level?
Yes, I'm aware that they can, but it's not as great as the sports that men have. Men have everything, but women have less. And I don't think it's fair that men can have all these sports and women aren't allowed to have the same opportunities that we fought for.
Can I make a point of information, sir? Or do I have to raise my hand?
You can point of information.
What?
Is it information or clarification?
Clarification? I don't know.
All right,
Which
just
one?
say it.
It's just that you said it's not as like, you sort of said that like the women's sports aren't as prestigious as the men's sports, but the women's national soccer team has won more World Cups than the men's national soccer team.
So that just proves that we can be just as successful as the men's team, and that given the opportunity and given the support by society, we can do greater things.
Yes, but that disproves your.
No follow-ups.
Sophia.
Violent.
All right.
Okay, so everybody's been taking this on a funny note, but I want to take it on a serious note. The two things: the fact of there is obviously okay, I'm just gonna put it out there: lack of skill and lack of form in women's basketball. I play basketball, and I can tell you that for a fact. It's slower paced. And the second thing is that you said that the WNBA is not it's not losing as much money as the NBA. However, the NBA is a gateway for opportunity, like Air Jordan's brand, Jordan's brand, Air Jordan. Like he got it through the NBA. So, don't you think it would be beneficial for like women if you said they did community service, if they just went to a community service center and did community service there, and just went to like a PAL and played basketball, instead of having like a professional league that's wasting money to televise everything?
Well, we're not wasting money because by having WNBA, you're opening opportunities for them to have like gateway, like you said with the Air Jordan. And just because it's not as fast-paced doesn't mean that women can't progress and become better, because not all sports teams are really great. As long as you work hard and make it better. See, if we pour more money into it, then they'll be able to increase like their sports abilities. But since nobody really cares about it and it's more neglected, then they're not going to do as well.
Nico?
You brought up a point before that women don't really have any prevalence in any other sports, but on September 23rd, 1992, Manon Ryu was the first woman to ever play in the NHL, and that women are allowed to play in the NHL, the MLB, and what's the NFL, but most of them just choose not to.
But they choose not to because if they were involved, then there are a lot of obstacles that they're going to have to overcome because of the sexism that occurs on those teams. So it might not be that they don't want to, it's just that the outcome isn't going to be as great because people are so sexist towards them.
Rob?
You say that we should pour more money into the WNBA. Sorry. You said we should pour more money into the WNBA, but why would we watch a game that that's less quality than than a regular NBA game, is not as fast paced, doesn't score as many points, or as exciting because most women basketball players do not dunk when a lot of most NBA players they dunk. So why would we watch a game that's less exciting and less fun to watch for someone? Why should we do that?
Well, if we put more attention on it, then the probability that they would increase their playing levels would be greater, and they would become better at their sport. And also, just because you might not find it interesting doesn't mean that other people don't find it interesting, because when you're involved in something, it's your passion, it's your whole world, and just because it's not what you like to watch doesn't mean other people don't like to watch it.
Mitchell.
The first point you brought up was that Title IX is against sexism. But don't you think that having a separate league for women that's not as successful as the one for men is sexist in its own right, and instead they should just have men and women in the same league?
No, I agree that men and women should be in the same league, but I don't think that men are ready to swallow their egos and let women play in the same team as them. and I think that they should, but as of right now, we shouldn't abolish WNBA. If we want to work towards a greater NBA that includes men and women, then we should work towards that and not abolish something that's a stepping stone towards that.
All right, that is time. So.
What is that? Power of the Super?
Did you wear that?
Yeah.
It's like effective.
Sexist.
I'm not sexist.
You are.
Guys are just totally
He is a
like.
conservative.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did you hear that? You just.
Is there a sub, con, or pro? You want pro? Is there a con?
Dance off. Shruti, go for it.
No, sure,
I'll
he's
go
too
college.
nice and
Yo,
just like
so,
A motion to shorten subsequent speeches to 3 minutes.
So I started the sentence. Guys are just.
no, they are.
No, they're
Three.
close those four.
Wait.
What about it?
Definitely 4 minutes.
No, they're three.
Oh, I thought you said concluding. No,
See, did
yeah,
that-
subsequent.
Guys are still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd assume so.
All right, so you can come on up.
Wait, that should be a
Our cousin right there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna use it against you in court.
All right.
I'm gonna tell them that you're
Whenever
concerned.
Steven is ready.
It's the same.
Okay, how much time did you get? 3 minutes? Okay, and begin.
Okay, so basically, we brought up the point that the WNBA is sexist, and blatantly it is, because in other sports organizations, they integrate the NHL, such as Nico said, the NFL, the MLB, and why can't the NBA be integrated? I mean, you know, integrate to appreciate. I just made that up. To me, it's waste money and waste airtime. Like, I'd like to see other things. I mean, I watch ESPN and I see stuff for women's basketball. I like college women's basketball, but watching pro stuff, I mean, you know. But I'm pretty sure that, no, I am sure that they have WNBA organizations in Europe in certain countries, so it's very big in Europe. So if you want to play basketball, you can go to Europe, or you can play in the NBA here. To me, you know, or you could, or you could have a merger. You know, if you want to merge the WNBA and the NBA, you know, it'd be pretty cool. The money, to me, which I was informed, comes from ticket sales, and to me, there's no profit if you break even, obviously. So what's the point of an organization if you're going to break even and not profit from it. Okay. All right. Let me see. All right. Oh yeah, when it was brought up there was another point saying that a lot of people are going to be affected, such as players, if WNBA was going to be eliminated. But most people who go on to the WNBA played in college, and if you're going to college, obviously you should be studying it. And most people use sports such as basketball or any other sport as a gateway to get into a better college for a better education. So I think that should be the key point of going to college, not just for a sport, for an education to profit, because you can't always play basketball. You can't play basketball until you're 60 and retire. Now you have to retire and you can take on another job. And obviously what the women are being paid isn't enough to retire on. I yield my time to questions.
All right, questions, 30 seconds left, so a couple quick ones. Sophia.
Why do you like watching college basketball and not national WNBA?
Because I like the tournament. It's pretty cool. I like the way it works.
He's on Barbara going
You said they weren't making money if it breaks even, but wasn't the quote stating how the NBA is actually losing money, and that's the difference between the WNBA and the NBA, is that the WNBA isn't losing as much money as the NBA? So, isn't that contradictory?
Sure. No. Well, to me, the NBA creates a lot more organizations and opportunities, such as name brands with Nike and sponsorships and advertising, than the WNBA, at least, that I believe. That's my opinion.
All right, I'm gonna ask a question. Does the speaker agree that there would be a greatly increased viewership and a greater support for WNBA if it went under like retooling to not only increase their skill but other aspects of the game like the LFL?
Basically, to me that's just dumping more money into the program, and personally, I mean, the money should be spent more on the advertising and the billing of the program instead of the skill.
That is it.
All right, that's time.
Roger, you sub Connie?
Oh my god,
no, you traitor. Oh, I know what Roger's gonna do.
More than just
Roger's gonna pull a double agent.
no.
He always does.
Oh, okay, then never mind. Hey, Roger, he's Russian. Roger's a proven cross-dresser. How fresh are the lines? And begin.
Okay, so we've all tried to take this debate very funny, and it got me a couple laughs. But think about it this way: who's ever heard the saying that basketball or sports are very difficult to get into? Who here plays sports? Right, you guys all know how tough it is. It's not something everybody can do, right? And you'll hear people come and speak to you and say, one person out of this graduating class will go on to be a professional athlete, right? So there's not a lot of people that can play sports, or well at least, because people can play sports, but just terribly. Like Brian in basketball. No, it's not a joke. He's clumsy.
Oh, that's
Or like you in basketball.
So,
I'm seriously insulted.
he's really clumsy, right? I don't have much time. So, if we're gonna have these women that have skill, right, and only a small fraction of them are actually gonna go and play professional sports, why should we not give them that option? What?
Stay in front of the camera.
No. Anyway, the thing is, think about it this way. Let's say you're a good painter, right?
Yes.
And they have conventions for painters to go and sell their things. And they say, all right, all the guys can have one, but the girls, I mean, you've worked hard and you're pretty good, but you can't have one. You can't market your stuff. How do you feel then? Right? They say, no, you can't come to our convention, but you can't have one either. That's what we're doing with if we get rid of the WNBA. We're saying, you're good enough, and you're the one out of this entire graduating class that's athletic enough to play professional, and you can't play in your own league. I want to end by saying, do you find that fair in anything you do whether it be sports, your talent, or your occupation. I yield the rest of my time to questions.
All right. Rob.
Would you agree that art is subjective, that everyone can do art while sports are not subjective? You have to have a certain skill set?
Not really, because there are different levels of sports, and anybody can play sports, as I had mentioned. You have intramural, you have recreational, you have professional, you have Olympic, you have national. So I was using art as an example to appeal to the emotion. So if you don't want to use art, you can use something like I don't know.
Science. Music.
Science. Music. No, music's art, not
Music
science.
is good.
No, it's not.
Oh.
Or no. Anyway, next question. That was.
All right. Becca.
They kept on talking about the integration of the WNBA and NBA, but don't you think that that would just never work? Because guys are very egotistical, and they get very insulted when anybody challenges them. And don't you think that because there is a difference in gender, there are different skills that they're better at, and it does put both sides at disadvantages, so it's not beneficial?
Yeah. One thing, there's like a common thing going on here that everybody's a winner, and we don't want to discriminate against anybody. And I truly believe that if you're not on the level of like that of playing basketball, like these really tall guys that can dunk, and you're like down here, but you're still good to play with everybody else that's down here, you should have your own league.
Time.
So I agree.
Time.
All right.
I'm done.
That's it.
Steven, you spelled your name.
All right.
You spelled your name wrong. I didn't
Motion to move to previous question.
It's STE.
Motion to move to
Second.
previous.
The rest
All
of
in
your
favor?
name.
Aye. All opposed?
See
All right.
Campania.
So,
Campana.
It's actually
hold
Scantana.
on, Lacey.
I am Italian, not
Read your
Spanish.
letter.
I'm just gonna leave this club.
I'm confused.
I don't know how you think I spelled my name wrong. Sorry, Lacey. It's Crotchy's fault.
Okay, I'd like to go back to a point that I've never addressed from Kyle's original argument. We talked about steroid use and how females, it's encouraging that. But steroids are used in all different sports. And I know just recently, Thiago Alvarez from the USC, I'm pretty sure it was Alvarez, yeah. He was caught using like a different urine sample. So that happens in all different sports. It's not just in women's basketball. And he talked about integration, and yes, I agree that if we integrated it, it would be better, but that's in the future. So if we abolish the WNBA now, there's not going to be any way that they can be involved in the NBA later. Like, we need the WNBA as a stepping stone to get into integration in the future, because I don't think people are ready now. And by abolishing the WNBA, you're limiting the rights that women have been fighting for, ever since like the 20s when it first began with the 19th Amendment, and it'd just be unjust to kill the dreams of other people. Like, I know I'm really involved in skating, and if somebody said, you're not going to be eligible to compete on the world level, what am I going to do? That's what I've been working for my whole life, and that's what these basketball players feel like. And we need to keep this industry alive because it's another way to have money and give people jobs. And it's not, it's not on TV a lot anyway. You don't really go through TV and you see, oh man, the WNBA is on again. It's rarely on, so it's not taking away that much airtime, and we need to satisfy other people in different demographics that actually watch it. And women in the American NBA, they do play on other international teams. That kind of addresses your point. And, you were saying how women, they don't make as much salary, so that's why they need to go to college. But men, that's what they do. They go and they play professional sports and they make all this money, and that's just their job. So women should be given the same opportunity to do that. And if we revamp the WNBA, and it will reap greater benefits. So it's just overall beneficial and fair to keep it alive. So don't abolish WNBA. Thank you.
I would also like to start with a point that my speaker had brought up. She said that we should dump more money into the WNBA. I'm not sure if she's aware, but most of the money that all sports franchises make come from ticket sales to the actual sporting event. And the fact that they make so little money is probably because no one goes. And another point, you said all sports use steroids. Yes, but I clearly said that Dr. J. Rosenberg, PhD from Cambridge University, has found that the WNBA promotes steroid use. Not like, oh, they're using steroids. No, promotes steroid use.
Those are facts.
Precisely. Having two leagues is sexism because the WNBA doesn't get as many viewers and the players don't make as much money as the NBA. Therefore, it should be abolished. Women are allowed to be in the NFL. They're allowed to be in the NHL. They're allowed to be in the MLB. They just choose not to be. There are plenty of female college hockey players and female college football players out there. They just choose not to go on to the professional level. And that's just the fact. And thank you very much.
Yay! Go Black Hole.
I guess we'll take a vote.
All right, so once again, resolved that the WNBA is to be abolished. All those in favor?
Come on, bro.
Why am I not surprised?
Why am I not surprised it's just the girls who are just like, is he raising his hand?
Okay, all those opposed?
Just stand, ladies.
You guys lost, and Roger. You guys lost, Roger, you're in the way. Okay.
Ron was supposed to come.
Hey, Julie. I can't see your head.
Ladies, please have a seat.
Why would you say Dewey?
Because I have no position on this. I don't care if
He's not a man or a woman.
I'm not gonna vote. Oh!
Thanks, Hate.
Oh!
Wait, who abstained?
Hate.
Why would bro? You and you. Blacklist.
Yo, we have the same birthday. Leave us alone.
Ooh, throwdown with Bobby
Okay.
Clay.
Wait, can I motion for a recount? Please?
No
Please,
recount.
motion denied. Meeting over.
Wait. We didn't announce it. So with the
You
vote
definitely
of 7,
counted wrong.
Resolved that the WNBA be abolished. Fails. 7 to 8 to 2.
No! Crotch, say hi.
Alright, guys. Oh my god, it's Roger! Guys, listen. One more thing before you guys go.
Hey ho.
I just want to spot one thing.
He voted pro,
Yeah, it's Roger, you voted pro, right?
The Wiz.
You counted wrong.
Oh, that's
You
so.
counted
He
wrong.
voted pro.
That's why I motioned for a recount. I know you counted wrong.
No, he didn't.
8, 9.
Yeah, Siraj voted
No, he didn't.
pro.
He didn't.
Yes, he did. I saw his hand. It doesn't matter.
That's why we're both up here to make sure there's no discrepancy.
Yeah, well, you're wrong. It doesn't matter. We win, you lose. How do I stop?
Sorry, guys. It was phenomenal, guys.
No, it just points out.
We needed
No,
WNBA because women just go.
it doesn't. It just points. Wait, no. It just points out that the women aren't confident enough to have a recount.
Listen.
So
No, but you're
you
just
guys,
kinda
you guys are too worried.
Okay.
I hope it falls on you, Roger.
Those are the facts. Shut up.
Hey, how do I stop this?